The story of the Brementown Musicians. Once upon a time, there was a donkey who'd been a good servant to his master, but when he learned his master was going to get rid of him, he decided to walk and walk and walk to Brementown to become a musician. He had a fine voice.
Hee-haw!
The donkey went along and he went along until he heard a dog howling for all it was worth.
Oh,
What's wrong, dog? Oh, the dog said, my master has decided to take me out in the woods and shoot me just because I'm getting old. The donkey shook his head sadly. My master's getting rid of me too. Come with me. We'll run away and be musicians in Brementown. The dog nodded his head and agreed right away, and the two of them continued on and continued on until they met a cat. Soon they came upon a cat yowling for all it was worth. And they both stopped and held out their hands. What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, I'm going to be thrown into a bag and drowned in the river because I'm getting old. My master wants to get rid of me. Both the animals shook their heads. No, no, come with us. We're going off to be musicians in Brementown. You would make a wonderful musician. So all three went off until they came to a rooster who was cock-a-doodle-dooing. Oh, he sounded so sad. All three friends held out their hands. What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, my master plans to turn me into soup just because I'm getting old. And the poor rooster shook his head. All three animals shook their heads too. No, no, come with us. We're going to be musicians in Brementown. Oh, I will, said the rooster. So all four friends went along, and they went along, and they went along. They'd walked and walked all day, and they had gotten tired going through the forest, but they saw a robber's window with lights. Maybe in that house we could get food. We could go sing for our supper. So they went right up to the window. The donkey let the dog climb up on his shoulders, and the cat got on the dog's shoulders, and at the top perched the rooster so he could peer into the robber's house and see all the robbers. The animals decided to make their best music for the robbers. Perhaps the robbers would share their supper in return. So on the count of three, they all sang their song. 1, 2, 3. The robbers were inside, playing cards with no idea that four hungry animals were just about to come in through the window, when all of a sudden they heard a huge noise of all the animals braying at once, and they jumped up, leaving their cards behind, and ran off into the woods. Since the animals had all this good food the robbers had left in their haste, they decided to make good use of it, and they ate it all up, and then each went to sleep in his or her own way. The dog went to sleep behind the door, and the donkey went out in the yard, and the cat went to sleep by the fire, and the rooster went to sleep on the top of the roof. The robbers hid in the woods until they got tired of hiding, and then the chief robber pulled one of the robbers out and said, you are going to go back and see what happened. Oh, he was scared. He was shaking his head. No, 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 he didn't want to go. But the chief robber said, you must. And so off he went. The robber snuck back to the house to see what was happening. And it was so dark that he thought the cat's eyes were glowing coals in the fire. So when he reached out a match to light the fire, the cat jumped up at him and scratched him. He ran away, tripping over the dog who bit him in the leg. And then when he went out in the yard, he saw a donkey, but he didn't know it was a donkey. He thought it was a monster because he got kicked. And then the rooster started calling, and the robber ran away as fast as he could. Oh, the poor robber came running back to tell all he'd seen. He shook his head. It was terrible. It was terrible. I reached with a match to light into ember in the fire, and a witch jumped out and began attacking me with her claws, scratching my face. And then, as I tried to dash out the door, there was an ogre there who jumped out and hit me, and my leg, oh, I think my leg is still bleeding. And then I went out into the yard, and I ran past something huge. I don't know if it was a monster or what, but it grabbed a hold of me, and it kicked me. And then on the roof, I saw a ghost way up high on the roof, and it was shouting, catch the crook, do. It was the ghost the judge! We've all got to escape into the woods and never, ever return. Come on, everybody, let's go! The 4 animals were so happy there in their little cottage in the woods, they decided to stay. And they never did get to Brementown to become musicians. For all I know, they are still there.